concussion protocol after Rashawn Gary shook your arm a bit post-game?
Nice joke, Bill.
Oh, I mean,
Painful.
Huh?
Looked painful.
No, it was fun.
Yeah.
I like, mix it up a little bit with the guys, so.
on a serious note, have you heard anything about Rome? Is there any long-term concern there?
I checked in with Flea this morning. It seems to be he's doing better. So, but he'll be day to day, I would say.
You go to the hospital to get checked out?
Yes, he did.
Is he out now? Do you know?
Oh yeah, he was back in the locker room after the game.
Matt, you guys obviously had more young receivers step up. You know, you've dealt with a bunch of injuries to Christian, to Rome. What, above all else, has allowed those guys to just step in and not really miss a beat this entire year?
Yeah, I think it's the way they prepare. I think it's the way they compete on a daily basis. I was really proud of the effort, and I know we all get caught up in the stats and what they're doing with, in terms of the number of catches, receiving yards, the touchdowns, all that. But I thought really, it really showed just how competitive they were in the run game. There was some just the effort, the physicality, the strain. I think when you get that from that core, it just brings a different dimension to your offense, a different feel to your offense, and that's something that we're always looking for. And I thought those guys really fought hard yesterday.
With Wicks, it seems he found another level in terms of his production the second half of the season. Was it just a matter of kind of adjusting to the pro game, or what was the difference the second half of the season for him?
I think just more opportunities, there's always a learning curve for every young player, but I think his rapport definitely developed with Jordan, and I mean the production of our offense as a whole is significantly better the back half of the season than it was early on.
The 59-yarder to Reed down the left sideline, you said wasn't part of the progression. What was the intended purpose of that play, and in what way did kind of Jordan see something different and improvise there?
Well, really, we were supposed to get out of the play versus that look, and I'm glad he didn't. Sometimes it's not always how you design it, and but it's we're basically got two clear out routes, and Jordan saw a hole in there. There was a hole, and he made a hell of a throw. And Jay Reed, it was pretty close whether or not he was on the line. After looking at it, I don't think he was, but I didn't check out the TV copy or anything like that. So you guys might know better than me, but just from the coach's copy, I didn't think but it was pretty close. It was just a heck of a play by those two guys.
And as fun as last night looked for those guys and you, how do you make sure this team just isn't happy to be in?
Because I just think that I fully believe that these guys have the mindset of just showing up and continuing to work, try to get a little bit better. We obviously know we have a great challenge in front of us going down to Dallas against a team that they're 8-0 at home this year. They seem to be playing their best ball at home, and they're littered with Pro Bowlers all over their roster. Great scheme, great coaches, great players. So, our guys, they know it starts with the work that we put in and the preparation, and it's going to be a big week for us.
You've been around the league. How special is just the amount of growth this offense has seen from week one to week one of the playoffs?
Yeah, it's why we do what we do. I mean, that's your job as a coach, is try to push people to get better and try to put them in situations where they are improving. And it's a credit to the guys. Again, the mindset, the habits that they've formed over the course of not only really the off season and then going into the season. It's a long journey. This is a long season for a lot of guys, and to have that number of rookies or youthful players on our roster, and but I think it was a benefit to us, to be honest with you. I think these guys just show up with great energy and continue to push each other each and every day.
When I asked you about Joe after Tampa Bay, you said the confidence in him times because you've seen this defense do it before, and now you've seen these past 2 weeks the defense do it again. Do you feel like you found some solutions going through that process that have carried over now, and kind of those issues that you were seeing are kind of solved?
Well, I think it's always week to week in this league. We know that. I mean, you're only as good as your last performance, and you got to make sure that you stay up on top of everything. And you know, I do know this about when we have all 11 doing their job and playing as one. There's been some pretty good performances. It's just whether it's communication or somebody has a misassignment, that's when bad things happen. And that's universally. That's all of football, whether it's offense, defense, special teams. So I think we've done a better job these last couple games, just, you know, having all the guys on the same page, maybe mixing a few things up, playing a little bit more aggressive at times. Certainly we knew yesterday stopping the run was going to be critical, especially with their ability to, I think they do a pretty good job in the run game. And then you had to compound that with a quarterback that has the ability to run some of the zone read. And it's a really good challenge for our defense. But I thought our guys were committed to it, and they did a really nice job of just doing their 1/11th.
Another thing you said is that you want to get more involved on that side of the ball. How has that looked, and then what kind of help do you think your presence, maybe increased presence there, has made on that side?
Well, I would say it's like drastic. I think our guys have done a really nice job of coming up with solid game plans, and you know, it's always a fine line of how much you want to get involved on the other side. I mean, certainly it's my responsibility at the end of the day. But I think there's also just how much, when you're a play caller, I've talked to a lot of other head coaches around the league, and just in terms of how much time do you devote when you are the play caller, it is a challenge. But certainly, you know, you're out there at practice, you got to be very locked in and making sure that there's nothing glaring out on the practice field that needs to get fixed before you go into game day.
NFL in scoring, just what is it about them that sticks out on tape, and how are they different offensively than maybe the team you faced a year ago?
Well, they're just extremely explosive. You know, I think Dak's playing at a really high level. They got a really good offensive line. Obviously, CD's a problem, but they got a lot of guys on that offense that they've been able to make a bunch of explosive plays, and they're scoring at a high rate. But I just think a lot of it comes down to how well the quarterback's playing.
Over the years, a lot of players have talked to us about how just the speed of the game picks up and the intensity in the playoffs versus the regular season. From your vantage point on the sidelines, how true is that, and how do you get that message home to the young squad that hasn't experienced that?
Yeah, I just think that every play is you can't take a play off. I mean, not that we ever want that, but I just think the intensity of the game is heightened. Every play guys are straining, and just from my experiences in the playoffs, and it's just everything's heightened.
Hey, Matt, going back to Rob's question about not being happy to be here. Obviously, execution is the most important thing, but from a vibe perspective, is there a value in being the team that, you know, you're the 7th seed, no one sees you as the favorite? Like, for these young guys that have never experienced this, what do you think kind of the value is of maybe being in the position you guys are in?
I don't know. I just, that's for you guys to kind of discuss. I think for us, it's just the opportunity to be in the dance and, you know, go down there and have a great week of preparation and put our best foot forward.
I guess what I mean is that, you know, if you're a young guy who's never done this could be a little bit overwhelming maybe, right? Being in a playoff game, and these guys, maybe they just don't know what they don't know, but you don't get the sense that you have a group that would be tight or nervous.
I don't think so. I think we've been going through this the last few weeks. We knew it was at stake. The last 3 weeks basically have been playoff games for us. And so really it's the next opportunity.
When you talk about the progression with the offense, what role has the O-line had in that? Just how have you seen that unit kind of gel throughout the course of the
Yeah, I
season?
think our O-line's done an outstanding job. I think for the most part, the pass protection, for the majority of the season's been pretty solid. I just think that we've done a little bit better job in the run game, probably coming off the ball, doing a good job of, with our combination blocks or whatever blocking scheme we're using. And then it definitely doesn't hurt to have a healthy Aaron Jones in there as well.
You mentioned the lineman there with us in the run game. What have you thought of Rashid? When you get that one block on, I think it was a Jones run, he had his guy like 15 yards downfield. It was tremendous.
It was Edmonds, yeah. No, it was great. It was a great individual play. I think Sheed's done a pretty good job. I still think what's exciting about Sheed is there's still room for a lot of improvement, I would tell you. And but I think all in all, he's handled himself well, and he's going to continue to get better the more he plays.
You mentioned how everything's heightened in the playoffs. With that said, these past 2 weeks have almost, for regular season games, been kind of playoff games where you need a win to kind of extend your season. As a guy that's coached in playoffs, how much different has these past couple of weeks been to what these young guys are going to face now when it is the actual postseason?
Yeah, I think it's going to be the same mindset that we've had, and you can preach that and talk about it all the time, but I think there's another thing going, actually going and doing it. So I think it's going to be just a great experience for our guys to go through this, and we're looking forward to the challenge. We got a great opponent at their home stadium, and they're playing some really good football right now.
Hey, Matt, you've had some really, really good #1 wide receivers in your time in the league. I'm not stupid enough to suggest that you wouldn't want a Devontae Adams type player in your wide receiver group. But is there a value in having so many guys that are kind of on the same level, that there's no pressure on the quarterback to always get the ball to the #1 guy? The defense can't say, okay, this guy is the absolute one we have to. Is there anything to that, or am I crazy to think that?
No, I think it allows, certainly from the quarterback position, to read whatever concept true to how it's intended to be read. And, we've definitely been a part of teams where we've tried to force feed a guy the ball, and sometimes that does not work out in your favor, other times it does. So, I think Jordan would tell you he's got confidence in whoever's out there. All those guys have proven to make plays for us throughout the course of the season. Some big-time plays last night, and hopefully we can continue that.
Can I ask too about the passing game? One, just before the half, Wicks trying to get out of bounds, I couldn't see. Was that a good play by the defender? What happened there?
Yeah, that was a heck of a play by Stevenson. He was off further than when I went back and watched it, he was off at like 12 yards. I think there are some things that we got to do from just a coaching perspective where we can't allow our wideouts to tighten down their split that far. So it's like a bang-bang play on the sideline. We were way too tight, and that's on me. That's my fault, because we tend to do that with some of our concepts, depending on what's called. And so I don't expect a young wideout in that situation to think any different. So that 100% is on me.
And then these last 2 games, from upstairs, you're looking at Jordan, he's back, and then he finds this, and then there's Bobo Melton wide open. And you see some of these plays 4 or 5 times a game in these last 2 games, where there's 2 or 3 guys wide open. I mean, are your young receivers, are they that fast? Is it the routes? Is it the quarterback is seeing the field? Is it new game plan stuff?
I mean, it just depends on the concept and the coverage contour and how the defense responds. But certainly we try to game plan guys and try to get them open. It doesn't always happen that way, but I think, I think the wideouts have done a really nice job. Just using their speed, coming off the ball. That's one thing that we always really talk to them about and drill and coach. And it's just the pad level of how you come off the ball, and those guys are doing a good job with that.
Yeah, one touchdown allowed in the last 2 games. Has the defense just kind of picked up on the energy of a little more aggressive pressure calling from Joe, and just kind of translated that into overall more play dictating things defensively?
I think there were certain situations that certainly played out that way, but I also think that just our execution has been much better. We're definitely been more disruptive. I think up front, we were putting pressure on the quarterback, which always helps. I think we're playing the run pretty tough. So it'll be another great challenge this weekend.
Luke got in and got a catch at the end of the game. In terms of his availability to you, was he on a snap count? And do you expect, based on his performance, that to grow this week going into the playoffs?
Yeah, well, we didn't really know until late in the week whether or not he was even going to be available, to be honest with you. And it wasn't until about Friday, and by that time, the majority of the game plan's in. So we just thought it would be beneficial, even if it was minimal in terms of the number of snaps. I think that was a key play for him, just to be able to catch the ball, take a hit, and get up from that, and it not hurt him. So hopefully he can build upon that for this weekend.
Prospect for AJ this week?
We'll see. Again, he's day-to-day. He's doing, I talked to him this morning in the training room, and he's doing whatever he can to try to make it back. And but that would definitely be a benefit to have him for this game.
Matt, when you were talking about getting involved with the defense, you're talking about being a play caller offensively. Mike down in Dallas had given that up for a few years and took it back, and now they've been really explosive. When you're a head coach from an offensive background, how hard is it to not be the play caller, you think? And is that something that it's really important to you as a coach yourself to be doing that?
Yeah, I think every situation's a little bit different. I mean, I got confidence that Adam Stenovich would do a great job. There's no doubt about it. Matter of fact, I would say that it's a pretty collective effort throughout the course of the game, where we're all communicating with one another, whether it's Vrabel, whether it's John Dunn, whether it's Tom, Ben, whoever. We're always, trying to brainstorm together and come up with whatever we think. And if guys got an idea, they're not afraid to say it. And but yeah, every situation's a little bit different. For me, I kind of enjoy it, so why not do it?
Did you go rogue on your challenge, or did Connor tell you to do it, or what happened on that?
That was, yeah, I don't think he had a clean look at it. I went, on the video board. I thought the ball hit the ground, but apparently I was wrong. So I thought it was just worth the risk in that situation. So I do not regret that. I just, I don't know. What do you guys think?
We thought you were right when we were talking in the press box. We all thought it was.
I'm just kidding.
You were the one that said it too.
I'm kidding.
Apparently we were wrong.